In this lesson, we're going to start off with the right hand, and what we're going to learn is the difference between the free stroke and a rest stroke. So go ahead and place your thumb on the 5th string, your first finger on the 3rd string, your index finger, your middle finger on the 2nd string, and your ring finger on the 1st string. So just like how we learned before about playing the ascending arpeggio, that's all done in what's called a free stroke. So your fingers freely go from one string to the next, making that soft fist. And all of the movement comes from the big knuckles. Now, again, you want to remember with the free stroke that your wrist stays a little bit bent and lined up with your elbow. And then next you have what's called a rest stroke. And so a rest stroke, we're going to use the top string right here, the 1st string. And so you play with your nail and you rest your finger on the 2nd string. So you get a really nice strong tone and volume out of that. All right, next what we're gonna do is using the free stroke, we alternate, we're gonna use just the 1st string, the open E string. So we alternate from the index finger to the middle finger. So you're gonna rest your thumb on the 3rd string and play alternating your index finger and your middle finger. And right as you switch over to the next finger, put the other finger that you just played back in motion to set back in place to play again. The reason why you want to go ahead and start practicing alternating your fingers on one string is that it helps out so much with playing lead guitar, and eventually it leads to techniques like tremolo that's used in classical playing. So you practice that. Once you're comfortable with that, move down one string, placing your thumb on the 4th string and your index and middle finger on the 2nd string, and go ahead and alternate again using the free stroke. And when you're comfortable with that, move down one more string, placing your thumb on the 5th string and your index and middle finger on the 3rd string, and do the same thing. Okay, now we go back to the rest stroke, and so go ahead and place your thumb back on the 3rd string and alternating your index finger and your middle finger, playing that open E string. So play and rest, place your middle finger on the string, play and rest. And notice that your wrist comes up a little bit as you get your fingers in position to rest on the next string. Okay, once you're comfortable with that, move on down one string, placing your thumb again on the 4th string and your index and middle on the 2nd string. And move down one more string to the 5th and 3rd strings. Okay, so that's the right hand technique. Now we're gonna move on to the left hand. And so what we're gonna learn is what's called the chromatic scale. So in the beginning, we learned the frets, and that the distance between each fret is a half-step note, like on a keyboard going from a white key to a black key. And so that's no different on this. We're gonna start off with an open E note, which is on the 6th string. And while you play this scale, go ahead and use that technique that we just learned with alternating your index finger and your middle finger on each string. So play your open E, put your 1st finger on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, and the 4th finger on the 4th fret. Okay? All right, when you're comfortable with that, move on to the 5th string. So you play the open A string and then play the same pattern going from your 1st finger on the 1st fret and so forth on the second, third, and fourth. And now, learning little bits at a time, go back to the beginning of the scale and put it together. Okay, once you're comfortable with that, move on to the fourth string. So that would be an open D string. And play the same pattern again. First, second, third, and fourth. And then put it together. Okay, once you're comfortable with that, move on to the third string, which is an open G. And then place your first finger on the first fret, and likewise the second, third, and fourth. And it's the same pattern as the other ones. And piece it together. And then for the second string, it's a little bit different. You don't play the open B string. You just start off with the C note, which is your first finger on the first fret, the second string. And then you move forward to placing your second finger on the second fret, third on the third fret, and fourth on the fourth fret. Okay, and you put it together. And then when you're comfortable with that, move on to the last string, which is the first open E string, and then play the same pattern again. And then you place it all together as one. And there you have it. That is the finger in another exercise you can do for the right hand and the chromatic scale played on the left hand. So good job.